chapter 8. One of my affirmations. I wake every day excited for the magic and miracles that God is aligning for me. I move through my day with grace and ease, feeling energized, tuned into my body, mind, and heart. Okay, so we are reading Extraordinary You by Jacqueline Ortiz, and we are on chapter 8. Happiness is a state of mind. Perfect. Just perfect. Isn't it just perfect? Did this find you at just the right moment? I'm reading a little bit early because I knew this was the next chapter and I knew that it was going to be helpful. Okay. What wisdom does Jacqueline Ortiz have for us? Happiness is that elusive thing we are all searching for, but it is only elusive to those who seek it in the past or plan for it in the future. To those in the present, every moment is pregnant with happiness. What is happiness? It is something that everyone craves, but few truly attain. Why is that? It's mostly because people think that happiness is something you need to get or earn or be born with the disposition for. They think it's impossible to maintain or a place you arrive at, or that the circumstances are what makes you happy. Authentic happiness is none of these things. It is not a concrete destination. It is a subjective state of mind. Happiness isn't a thing or a place. Different things can make different people experience happiness. Many people believe that circumstances and experiences are what make you happy or unhappy. This is false. There are countless people in life that seemingly have everything that should make them happy, yet they aren't happy. And then there are those who have the opposite experience. They may be ill, unemployed, or alone, yet they are happy. What gives? Happiness is a state of mind. It is characterized by feelings of gratitude, serenity, inner peace, contentment, satisfaction, delight, pleasure, love, bliss, and affection for our inner selves and for others. Happiness, bliss, and contentment is your authentic state. You can't experience lasting happiness if you are searching outside of yourself or waiting to obtain something before you can feel happy. Most people put off being happy until someday when they graduate from school, when they get a better job, when they fall in love, when they get married, when they have kids, when their kids go off to college, when they make lots of money, or when they retire. If you are always looking for the next thing that will make you happy, happiness will always be elusive. Happiness isn't a thing or a place. It is within you. So don't postpone happiness until later. Don't attach conditions to happiness, because once you attain the thing that you think will make you happy, you will create another hoop to jump through, and then another. You can't find lasting happiness outside of yourself. It can only be experienced within yourself. Happiness is a way of life, not something fleeting or something to experience only when all of the planets are aligned in the perfect cosmic configuration. This is so funny because tonight we have 7 planets that are lined up in a brand new moon. Isn't that fun? What a fun synchronicity this is. Thank you, Jacqueline. Happiness is there for the taking, or better yet, for the thinking. Authentic and permanent happiness is about an internal shift from the inside out in your interpretation of events and circumstances. Happiness is the foundation of a fulfilling, purposeful, and extraordinary life. It connects you to your harmonic flow of infinite wisdom, which enables you to tune in to your positive, decisive, joyful, charismatic, dynamic, playful nature. Things don't have to always go right before you can experience happiness. Remember, you can't always control what happens, but you can always control the interpretation and meaning that you assign to your circumstances. Whether you are happy or unhappy, it is as a direct result of your thoughts and your feelings you associate with those thoughts. Thinking is a conscious function for all humans. You are the thinker of your own thoughts. Therefore, you are responsible for the thoughts that you think and those you choose to harbor. You don't necessarily have to be harboring a thought for long before it affects how you feel. Your feelings and emotions can change in an instant. In a split second, you can go from feeling happy to feeling unhappy if you give enough energy, feeling, power, and credence to the passing thought. Every perception, every circumstance, every experience, and every emotion is preceded by a thought. The thought comes first, and then it is followed by the feeling, emotion, and reaction. What you have to remember at every crossroads of emotion and before interpreting it is that you are the thinker. When you understand that all of your thoughts are neutral and you are the thinker, you can experience and maintain happiness regardless of the circumstances. You can choose to shift your thoughts to empower your mental, emotional, and spiritual health and happiness. You can't find true happiness, but you can choose to be happy simply by being happy. Extraordinary size 36. Create affirmations to promote happiness. Here are a few examples. I choose to accentuate happy thoughts. I choose to emphasize the positive in every situation. My happiness depends on me. I create my own happiness. I'm happy, enthusiastic, and cheerful. I'm happy just the way I am. Moody blues. Moods are what you feel at any given moment. Moods are constantly changing, lifting and falling, and where they will go, nobody knows. Your thoughts impact your moods. When your thoughts are blue and dismal, your mood will be, well, moody. You may feel irritated, angry, frustrated, sad, or depressed. When your thoughts are happy and uplifting, you may feel invincible, confident, joyful, and carefree. To control your moods, be conscious of where your thoughts are headed. And if you don't like the destination, change your direction. When you are marinating in the moody blues, you will feel like you are struggling against the universe. Life is difficult. Everyone is against you, and you can't do anything right. But when the tides change and you are again in a good mood, life is great. You can do no wrong. Everything is rosy and life is grand. The key to happiness is to recognize your moods. Notice how you are feeling and then act or react accordingly. Don't judge or resent how you are feeling. This just adds more resistance. Remember what I said earlier, what you resist will persist. When you are in the midst of a low or negative mood, you must be compassionate and patient with yourself. You need to take a step back and understand that the sense of urgency, impatience, frustration, sadness, or disappointment is not your new reality. It is a direct result of your thoughts. You need to redirect your thinking so that you can lift your mood. The key to being happy is to not take your moods or the moods of others too seriously or personally. Recognize moods for what they are, the interpretations and perceptions of the thinking mind. So don't let life, things, or other people get to you. It's not about you. It's about moods. Learn to separate your moods from reality. Know the difference, and you won't sink in a quicksand of emotional blues. The best way to deal with your moods is to shine light on them. Recognize when you are feeling blue, and then act accordingly. More important, don't overreact. Try to avoid making rash decisions, solving problems, brainstorming, confronting people, and issuing ultimatums when you are in a low mood. Do everything possible to wait until your emotional storm passes. It always does. Remember, be patient and compassionate. This isn't a cop-out. It's a method for being more productive, efficient, and effective. When you are feeling better, you will be more connected to your inner wisdom. When you are making decisions from a state of inner strength and inner knowing, you are in harmony with your authentic self. This virtually eliminates regret, second-guessing, disappointment, and ego conflicts. Extraordinary size 37. When you are feeling blue or worrying, take a time out. Schedule a certain amount of time to wallow in your misery or to worry, and don't wallow any longer. Just as one would discipline a child for a certain time period and then allow the child to resume playing, you should do the same. For example, if you feel blue, take 20 minutes, tops, to wallow in self-pity and have a good cry. During these 20 minutes, give yourself permission to be as miserable, angry, or worried as you want. Don't hold back, but when time's up, resolve to leave the mourning behind. Focus on turning the situation around, on moving on changing your perception, and on finding a solution. Make a commitment right now that you will experience happiness every moment of your life. Not someday, but all day. Every day. So many people live on cruise control. They aren't happy, and they aren't unhappy. They don't feel anything. They just feel a numbness that results from the disconnection from their authentic happiness. It has been such a long time since so many people experienced authentic happiness that they have forgotten not only what makes them truly happy, but even what true happiness feels like. This is a tragic way to live. Every single human being has to discover what will make his heart sing, his spirit soar. Each of us has been placed on earth for a season and for a reason. Search for your reason before the season passes you by. Your passion is your doorway to happiness. Find your passion and then pursue it like there's no tomorrow, because someday there won't be a tomorrow. Physiology changes everything. The way you move, the way you breathe, and your posture affect your state of mind. There's a connection between your thoughts and the way you carry yourself, which in turn affects your moods. Your thoughts create corresponding physiological events or reactions. The bad news is that negative physiology affects your happiness. The good news is that you can change it. Extraordinary size 38. Try this experiment. Try this experiment. Change your physiology. When you are feeling unhappy, stop and take deep breaths. Sit up or stand up nice and straight. Plaster a big, silly grin on your face from ear to ear. Laugh out loud. While you are doing this, check in with your feelings. Now, how do you feel? I'll bet your mood is more lighthearted and happy than it was just an instant ago. It is virtually impossible to be unhappy while expressing the physiology of someone who is happy and having fun. So, what's the lesson? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, stand up tall, smile, breathe deeply, hold your head up, and wink with a twinkle in your eye. Have fun with this when you are feeling blue. Laugh, dance, or sing. Do whatever it takes to put yourself in a happy physiological state. Create physiological patterns of movement that will lift, inspire, and empower you, and create confidence, fun, and excitement. Challenging relationships. Being happy in love encompasses all types of relationships, not just with your significant other, but also with your parents, grandparents, friends, children, peers, siblings, and coworkers. All relationships have unique and dynamic characteristics and personalities, which makes things fun and rewarding, but can also be very challenging. Being happy in love is the easy part. Hence, we are going to tackle challenging relationships. Thank you, Jacqueline. If you are repeatedly bombarded with negativity, it is easy to let down your guard and succumb to the pessimistic and negative people in your immediate surroundings. This has the potential to affect your thoughts. Don't let it happen to you. Unfortunately, at times, this is easier said than done. When you are facing challenging times in a relationship, you must connect with your authentic self. Assert yourself, regain control of your thoughts, and notice your authentic self's needs. You need to reestablish what your needs are. What do you need in order to feel happy? Is it to be listened to or public displays of affection? Is it romance, security, respect, appreciation, quality time, attention, their assistance, shared interests, to feel loved or to feel accepted? Whatever it is, you must communicate your needs. Ask for your needs to be met. If your needs are met, great. But never depend on others to meet your needs for happiness or anything else. To do so is to hand over your power. Ultimately, your happiness is your own responsibility. Whatever you think you need from another person is your universal wake-up call for your inner self to fill this longing from within. Don't depend on others to meet your needs. Instead, step up to the plate and give yourself what you need in order to be happy. If you really aren't happy in a relationship or crave something that the other person isn't willing to give you, you can sever the relationship or complement the relationship. You can complement the relationship by finding someone else to give you what you need. I'm not talking about taking on a lover. I'm talking about a platonic friend, coworker, etc. You must give yourself what you need before you can ask others to give it to you. You must first fill your need internally. This is the key to external happiness. This is the key for eternal happiness. Eternal happiness. Don't be dependent on receiving something from someone else as a prerequisite for happiness. Happiness is self-love. It is the confidence in your ability to love yourself. It is knowing that you have the capacity to give yourself everything that you need. The key to a happy and healthy relationship is to understand that other people have their own thought processes, patterns, and filters. Once you learn to accept that other people may have different ways of interpreting things, you will be able to let go of the need to always be right or to have things your way. You will learn to respect people for who they are without the need to make them right or wrong. This releases the tension, judgment, criticism, and confusion. Rather than seeing others as adversaries, competitors, or moldable projects, you learn to understand and accept them. I'm going to read that one more time. Rather than seeing others as adversaries, competitors, or moldable projects, you learn to understand and accept them. You don't need to deny or fix the differences. The problem arises when your focus is on needing to change the other person or their surroundings. Just focus on the positive things that you like about the other person. When loving others, you can only sustain the feeling of happiness to the degree that you love yourself. If you want authentic and permanent happiness, love yourself. Accept yourself as you are. Self-love and self-respect are the keys to long-lasting happiness. Threats to happiness: overzealous competitiveness, codependency, jealousy, stress, challenging people, moods. Tools to ward off the threats: complimenting others, living in the present moment, looking for the positive in the other person, accepting yourself as you are, accepting other people as they are, positive thinking, choosing to be happy, changing your physiology, reconnecting with your authentic self, and purposeful living. Extraordinary size 39. A great tool to use to check on your relationship is simply to ask for feedback. Ask the other person on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how do you rate our relationship? If the answer is less than 10, ask, what would I have to do to earn a 10? You may or may not be willing to do what the other person requires of you, but at least you have raised your level of awareness and know where you stand in the relationship. And it's ultimately your choice whether or not you want to do it. If you strongly disagree or aren't willing to do what they ask, you have another option. Seek a compromise, a middle ground that you both feel comfortable with and that improves the relationship. Happy days are here to stay. It is easy to be in a state of happiness and joy when life is peachy. The challenge is to be happy when life is throwing you some hard punches. How do you stay happy when life is throwing you steep curves? By understanding that at any given time, despite circumstances and life experiences, you are in control of how you feel. Release the negative thinking and feelings. When you stop defending, perpetuating, clinging to, resisting, and judging your negative thoughts, you shut down the When you stop defending, perpetuating, clinging to, resisting, and judging your negative thoughts, you shut down the energy conduit that was feeding the charge, and in effect, they lose power. Concentrate wholeheartedly on happy thoughts. Focus on what you want Focusing on what you want will make it easier to manifest the happiness you desire. Happiness is about more than what is in it for me. Happiness is giving of yourself. When you give unconditionally, it lifts your spirit, transcends your superficial and materialistic wants, and opens your heart to connect with others. The human experience is about connecting to your inner self, to other humans, to living organisms, or to a higher power. When you feel a connection, you know that you are not alone. There is something greater than just me, myself, and I. It opens up the heart to experience gratitude. When you are grateful, you are in a state of profound bliss. Happiness shouldn't be a fleeting place you visit. Rather, it should be the authentic state in which you reside. If you aren't able to permanently reside in a state of happiness, it is because of your habitual negative thoughts. Habits are hard to break, but not impossible. You first need to desperately want to let go of the old limiting habits, thus creating the leverage to spring you into changing your habits. This will create the momentum for aspiring to replace them with a liberating, empowering, joyful, and rewarding lifestyle. Recognize when and why you aren't feeling happy. What negative and habitual thoughts are replaying in your mind that keep you from being in a state of happiness? What is your belief? It could be that you're postponing happiness for something. You could be postponing happiness for someone. You could believe that happiness is a destination. You could have attached unrealistic conditions to happiness. It could be that you are afraid that if you are too happy, it can be taken from you. It could be that it's been so long since you've been happy that you have forgotten how to recreate the state. It could be a number of things. Extraordinary size 40. The first step is to recognize when you aren't feeling happy. Next, examine why. What negative and habitual thoughts are replaying in your mind that keeps you from being in a state of happiness? If you aren't happy, it's the result of a choice. Why are you choosing not to be happy? Do you have a limiting belief that you have associated with a state of happiness? For example, are you afraid that happiness will eventually lead to being vulnerable, disappointed, or hurt? Are you afraid to be happy? If so, afraid of what? Being vulnerable, disappointed, hurt? Are you postponing happiness? If so, for what? Make a commitment to be happy. Turn your limiting habits into new, empowering habits. Reinforce your new empowering behaviors and thoughts as often as possible. Eventually, they will become new habits. Be patient. With enthusiasm, resolve, and reinforcement, you will persevere. Extraordinary size 41. Make it interesting. Uncover new enthusiasm for life's routine tasks. For instance, you may be bored at your job. Why not make the best of it? You have nothing to lose. You could find that you can change your perspective on your job and find a way to enjoy it, possibly excel at it. At the very least, you can improve the experience until you land another job. Turn the mundane and boring into something fun and exhilarating. How? Make a game of it. Create innovative ways to enjoy your life. You can make it a personal best contest to see how much faster, better, or more uniquely or creatively you can perform a task. Or you can develop creative new ways to do your job. Or you can create mental or physical games while on the job. If it is a repetitive task, you can use the power of visualization to escape the mundane. Or you can initiate a friendly competition with a coworker. Find a way to turn the ordinarily mundane into extraordinarily exciting. Retrain your brain to look for the positive in every situation. You'll always find something positive. At the very least, you will find a change of perception and a new way to respond. How do you maintain the state of happiness? Simply let go. Let go of your attachment and the need to change what is. The serenity you seek is in the acceptance of what is. When you feel the urge to change what you cannot or do not have control over, release it. The following is very appropriate for maintaining a state of happiness. It's called the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Reinhold Niebuhr. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Don't worry, be happy. Stress to most people is a 4-letter word, but it doesn't have to be. Make peace with stress. The technologically driven fast pace of today isn't going away. If anything, the world is moving faster. Time is scarce. Stress can be a fact of life, but it doesn't have to be in your life. Again, stress isn't something that happens to us. It is something that we create as a result of our thinking. The most important thing to remember about stress is that it doesn't come from external pressure or circumstances. Rather, it comes from within ourselves. Whenever we perceive stress as happening to us, we set ourselves up to be victims of it, and we are in a reactionary mode. This means that we elevate stress to a higher position when we feel a need to manage or control our stress. This just reinforces the power that stress has over us. If instead we recognize stress as something we create within us, we are able to control the domino effect of toxic thinking before stress gets the upper hand. Suppose you are swamped at work and behind schedule, and a coworker snaps at you to hurry up with some reports that are needed immediately. Sure, you have a lot of work to do under a tight deadline, but if you take a few deep breaths, release the tension, and acknowledge that you are doing the best you can and that everyone else is wound up too, you can put yourself in a more productive frame of mind. One more conducive for getting your work done. It is also a lot less stressful than the automatic response many people have, which is to verbally snap back. They may also internalize the incident and repeatedly relive it in great detail. When you replay an incident in your mind, you hear the person's tone of voice and facial expression, the actual words, the body language, how it made you feel, what you should have said, and so on. Essentially, you are reliving the stressful and unhappy event again. Every time you retell the story, the feelings and emotions you attach to the incident encourage it to grow in intensity. It gets more vivid and painful, and you get more upset and stressed out. Instead of you taking the mature and responsible path, which would be to communicate how you feel to the irate coworker or to let the matter drop, you see the anger. Oh, no. You seethe in anger. You reenact and relive the stressful and painful situation over and over again, letting it fester. The cycle never ends, and you end up at the mercy of everyone and everything that might trigger an association to the incident. Now, that is stressful. I'm just going to pause for a moment. Have you been there? Have you done this? How recently? And I can say, I've been doing this work, energy work, for more than 20 years and coaching for a little bit over a decade. And I still get triggered. I still react when I go into a trauma response. When something is reminding me of an old pattern that's coming up to heal, remember there's gold in those triggers. And have compassion for yourself and everybody else involved. And allow yourself to heal and go to the source, the root of what's happening and coming up. Okay. The cycle never ends, and you end up at the mercy of everyone and everything that might trigger an association to the incident. Now that's stressful. And not only that, but you're going to find that pattern's going to recreate. If you don't pull this out by the root now, you're going to recreate it with new people and new experiences, just in a different form, different people, different bodies, different experiences. But the same energy of the emotions, of the frustration, the anger, whatever it is going to happen again. So then you get to uncover why it's happening. Get to the root. Get to the root. Okay. Don't hand over your power by allowing other people or external circumstances to control your peace of mind and happiness. Learn to release negative thoughts. Don't dwell on them. Sure, this is easier said than done, but it isn't your choice. You can be hurried, angry, and stressed, or just let it go. The reward for letting go is happiness and bliss. You let it go. Don't worry. Be happy. Stop worrying and start living. No matter how glorious life may be, you can always find something to worry about. The key is not to look for things that you can worry about, but instead to focus on the things, people, and events that you can be gloriously happy about. I read somewhere that worry is like a rocking chair. You rock back and forth, but it takes you nowhere. So what's the use? When you are in a state of worry, you don't have the appropriate, healthy mindset to resolve the problem. Worry has the power to prolong unhappiness, create more problems, and magnify them. Worrying doesn't resolve the problem. Make it go away or make you happy. So why bother? I'm going to read that one more time. Worrying doesn't resolve the problem, make it go away, or make you happy. So why bother? Worry can create more than unhappiness. It can create ulcers, heart disease, panic attacks, stress, high blood pressure, just to name a few. It can cause digestive disease and stress. Life is too short to squander it by worrying. Learn the lesson. After that, any more worrying is being a glutton for punishment and is a pure waste of energy. Worrying sucks the oxygen out of living a happy and passion-filled life. A key to being happy is to always do your personal best. When you do your very best, and this varies from moment to moment, you can stop worrying about the outcome, about succeeding, about what others will think of you, about not being good enough, and about falling and failing. Actually failing. I'm going to read that one more time. A key to being happy is to always do your personal best. When you do your very best, and this varies from moment to moment, you can stop worrying about the outcome, about succeeding, about what others will think of you, about not being good enough, and about failing. The most you or anyone else can expect from you is your very best. When you do your very best, there's no energy wasted on regrets, guilt, second guessing, and judgment. When you know in your heart of hearts that you did your very best, your soul earns healthy consciousness and clarity. When you do your very best, your spirit is liberated from toxic thoughts, old baggage, and worries, and it is able to fully enjoy life, to be and feel authentically happy. Habitually doing your best will bring you the innate pleasure of knowing you gave it your all. No cheating, no shortcuts, and no guilt. Regardless of the outcome, you will feel pride and pleasure in knowing that your authentic self is an upstanding person of integrity and excellence. If at first you feel that to live in a state of happiness is an overly ambitious goal and overwhelming, then break it down to one day at a time. One of the 5 Reiki principles is just for today. Do not worry. This is a principle you should adopt. You might want to add, just for today, I will be happy. Imagine how great your life would be if every day you recited this mantra. If you keep your resolve just for today and do this every day, one day at a time, and live by it, your life will be worry-free and happy. A joyous unfolding. Extraordinary size 42. Next time your happiness is zapped or threatened by the worry monster, try this. 1. Ask yourself honestly, what is the worst that can happen? Often your worrying has blown the situation out of proportion. Maybe the worst isn't so bad. 2. But regardless of how bad the worst case scenario may be, face it and learn to accept and trust that if necessary, you will develop the skills to overcome whatever may come your way, no matter what it is. An extraordinary thing happens after you discover that you have the courage needed to overcome the worst that can be thrown at you. You begin to feel a sense of inner peace, self-confidence, and courage. You are no longer in resistance mode or fearful mode. Rather, you are in a mode of inner fortitude and faith. 3. The inner strength and calm that you feel from the realization that you are stronger and more powerful than you have ever given yourself credit for enables you to tap into your inner reserves. This is when you concentrate your energy and time to improve the worst case scenario. Because, because acceptance doesn't mean lying down and playing dead. It means that you are able to overcome whatever comes your way. It also means that you are able to tap into the courage, determination, and personal responsibility to actively and productively search for ways to formulate an action plan to tackle, overcome, and resolve the situation. Extraordinary size 43. When you are feeling blue, count your blessings. Make a list of all the things that you are grateful for and all the things that make you feel happy. What are you happy about? Don't mumble nothing. If you could be happy, what would you be happy about? When your mind is hard at work, actively looking for things to be happy about, it doesn't have the inclination to focus on unhappy feelings. Extraordinary size 44. Put an end to the physiological poisoning of blowing circumstances out of proportion. Rather than blowing things up, get into the business of downsizing. Change the representation you have associated with the situation. Make it a mind game. Recall the event. Then miniaturize the event and reframe it. Make it very tiny, microscopic. Make it a very tiny, microscopic event. Turn the image upside down, twirl it around, and dim the lights. You can turn it into a comic strip. Laugh. Humor is the spice of life. Happiness is the here and now. Whether you are living in the land of the past or anxiously anticipating the future, you are cheating yourself of life's greatest gift, the present moment. This is why it is called the present. It is a present from the universe to be enjoyed, not squandered. When you are feeling unhappy or just not yourself, take notice. Get in tune with your thoughts and your feelings, and then gently redirect your attention to the present moment. As my job as a financial consultant got more and more stressful, happiness started eluding me. Because I was either wallowing in the toxic thoughts and emotions of my past or worrying about the future, rarely was I in the present moment. It wasn't until I realized that I was squandering those precious moments of my life that I made a commitment to consciously choose to be happy. By consistently and deliberately spending more and more time in the present moment. It wasn't an overnight process, but diligently I turned it around. I caught myself spending more and more time in the present moment, and because of my commitment, happiness was no longer an elusive dream. I didn't become ecstatically happy overnight. I still had work to do on what had caused me to get to that point. And I had to decide how I wanted to design the rest of my life. But I was measurably happier. You too can choose to be happy, one moment at a time, until it becomes a way of life for you. I have chosen to be happy. I go to great lengths to make sure that I set myself up to be happy. Every night before going to bed, I go to the mirror and give myself a happy pep talk. I review all of my accomplishments for the day, the temptations I overcame, things I'm grateful for, and things I love or admire about myself, no matter how small or big they might seem. The fact that I did accomplish these things and recognize the importance of them in my life is good enough for me to use to stack up more joy. I wake up the next morning feeling rejuvenated and excited, but I don't stop there. Once again, I go to the mirror and check that my physiology is congruent with my desire to experience happiness. While I'm getting ready for the day, I once again give myself a happy pep talk. I give examples of all the things I'm privileged to be happy about and tell myself all about the great things that I'm going to happily accomplish that day. Every day I choose to set myself up to experience happiness, and the payoff is experiencing more authentic joy. Extraordinary size 45. Every morning, give yourself a happy pep talk. No excuses. You can do it while you brush your teeth or while you comb your hair, etc. Take a minute to remind yourself of all the things you are happy about and could be happy about today. Encourage yourself to focus on being happy, and you will be happy. Ideally, you'll want to repeat this process before going to bed. Extraordinary tidbit. Have you ever noticed how similar words happiness and happening are? This is because happiness is what is happening now. Happiness can only be found in the present moment. Even if you are happily thinking about the past or the future, your thinking is occurring now, in the present moment. Stress or unhappiness is caused by your attachment to how you wanted the past to unfold or how you wanted the future to unfold. When you release the need to control the past or the future, you are left in the present, where happiness resides. Again, when you release the need to control the past or the future, you are left in the present, where happiness resides. Besides, by living in the present moment, not only do you experience happiness, but you also improve your life. In essence, you are improving the presence of your life, one moment at a time. Extraordinary size 46. The next time you become frustrated, sad, or unhappy, take a time out. Reconnect with the thinker in you. Ask yourself, what was I thinking? What thoughts created the negative feelings? What am I feeling? Recognize that you are the thinker thinking the thoughts. Awareness has the power. Your mind created the thoughts, and it has the power to eliminate, redirect, or reframe thoughts by releasing them. Refuse to give negative thoughts any more energy and power by focusing on them. Take deep breaths and release, as you learned in Chapter 6 on feelings. Extraordinary size 18. Gently redirect your mind to the present moment. Extraordinary size 47. Meditate on happiness. Anchor your thoughts on inner peace, serenity, and bliss. Extraordinary size 48. When you are feeling blue, rather than focusing on your woes and wallowing in all of the things you are unhappy about, turn your attention and effort to helping others. Your intention should always be to genuinely give to yourself, not what's in it for me. The more you focus is on genuinely making others happier, the happier you will be. Every day, do a good deed. Putting a smile on someone else's face will do wonders for your spirit. So that is the end of Chapter 8. Powerful, powerful, powerful. From our dear angel, Jacqueline Ortiz, our angel who has her wings, who's watching over us, who's guiding us in this process. And I know that if you're having any difficulties, call on Jacqueline Ortiz. And she, I'm certain, will be happy to guide you. She's a beautiful, beautiful ascended master. I will call her an ascended master. You know, she never got the credit that she deserved for this book. She wanted to be a New York Times best-selling author. And unfortunately, that didn't happen before she passed. I do hope one day that she finds that recognition, and knowing that we are holding the space of love with her in the creation of this beautiful book. It truly is life-changing. You can join us in the Facebook group where we will go through the lessons, go through the extraordinary sizes together. It's a beautiful process. We get together on Zoom to go through the chapter, what we learned from the extraordinary sizes, and to contemplate on how we are here to be that unwavering space of love to help us heal ourselves. Another thing I want to share with you is Jacqueline lived by the principles in this book. She truly did. She would wake up every morning happy and excited. She would go to the mirror and she would pump herself up about the day in front of her. And she was amazing. If you saw her bathroom or the walls in her bedroom or her vision board, you would see all of these post-it notes. Post-it notes of things that she was grateful for, affirmations, and it truly was such a beautiful experience to read and to look at her walls and her mirrors, because she truly lived by what she was preaching here. And she never received the knowing of how extraordinary she truly was in this lifetime. I know that she knew it in her heart, but on some level, we strive to create a legacy and success for our lives and to better the world and make a difference. And this book is Jacqueline's representation of that. So I'm so thrilled that you're here with me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Jacqueline Bambenek with Vibrational Energy Solutions. And from my heart to yours, sending you so much love and wishes for you to make it a great day. Do your extraordinary sizes. They are brilliant. And this woman is brilliant. This woman is brilliant. And we were the J&J power duo. We were creating work together, working on a coaching program together. And so this truly is my honor to share this with you. And the Facebook group, the book club for Extraordinary You, is free. And all the work that we're doing there is completely free of charge. So I would love for you to join me. So the link will be in the description. Join us there. All right, bye for now. Make it happy. Be happy. Choose you. All right, love you.